Hi everyone, good morning. I would like to say thank you for everyone for coming our event today. Our today topic is how to protect your organization from data loss. My name is Zeti. I'm your MC today. Once again, thank you for joining our event. We are third week of MCO. Hopefully everyone is staying safe. Let me introduce our company first. SRKK Group has been in business since 1997, almost 24 years, and we are ISO 9001 2015 certified IT consulting firm. There is a trusted Microsoft partner with more than 80 headcounts. It's a 4 different locations. We are Microsoft Gold Cloud has been helping organizations ranging from SMB to large enterprises and multinational companies to achieve more with Microsoft solution that includes Microsoft 365, Azure, and Dynamics 365.
We actually separate this session into two sessions. Our main agenda and topic will be on the second session. We will start shortly for another 20 minutes, but we would like to have a quick update for everyone for the Microsoft team. So here with me, I have our four gentlemen that will be the presenter. The first one will be Shannon. Shannon, you can say hi.
Hi everyone, this is Shannon here. I'm so glad that you guys are able to join today. Spending your 1 hour time going to gain updates and knowledge from us. So pretty much that's. So let me pass back to Izzat to introduce him about himself a bit.
All right, so I have myself over here, Izzat as well. I will be co-presenter with Shannon. So our third speaker will be Daniel. Daniel, say hi to everybody.
Let me just take myself off it. Hi everyone, Daniel here, Regional Channel Sales Manager for Datto, currently based in Singapore. Looking forward to speaking some knowledge today and hoping to add some value. Thanks everyone.
All right, thanks Daniel. So our fourth speaker will be Chow. Chow, say hi to everybody.
Hi, very good morning to everyone. So I will be the technical person for you to reach out. If you have any questions about the technical, feel free to drop me a message. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chow. So that is our four handsome gentlemen that will be the presenter today. So without further ado, let's take a look on the latest update for Microsoft Teams. So if everyone have using the Microsoft Teams for about 1 year or 2 years, you might be noticed, right? A lot of new features coming in. All right. Compared to maybe 1 year ago, the features I can say it's a basic, but along the way, Microsoft have put a tremendous update on the features that are available. If I wanted to display or showcase to you all everything, we might not have enough time, right, Shannon? So
yes, of
at
course.
the moment we only will be focusing a few of it, but just to recap again what features coming into Microsoft Teams is actually we have the breakout room, we have the grid view, you can now customize a notification style, you can now share, if you are using Mac, now you can share the system audio, and what else we got, Shannon?
I think the first thing that catch my mind between all these words is the virtual reactions. Applause and laugh. So can the attendees actually show us some of these reactions? So actually we know that this reaction is working. Can someone show these reactions? Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
I see a few. That's good. So I know you're actually listening. All right. So I believe is that can we go deep dive into a few things that we need to highlight.
Okay, great. That's great. Like I mentioned just now, we cannot go through everything, but we have listed out a few that we feel that it's very interesting, the features that coming in. So let's go to the first one. I think Shannon, you want to share on this one first?
Yes, I know about this technology. This is the upcoming real-time collaborations they're going to roll out in 2021. So it's a part of a Fluid framework which allow user to live editing together. So do you think that this is a wow feature that everyone bring together, to work together, seeing everything this live? Just imagine that one you can edit, another one that PCs you can able to see what they edit. Do you think that is great?
Yeah, I think that's great. But I think the next one will be much interesting, which is the together mode. All right. So sorry, okay, together mode, I think this is more interesting compared to the previous one. Why? Because if you play around with Microsoft Teams a lot, you can see these features coming in, but you cannot have the control. You know, sometimes we wanted when we enter the together mode, we want to make maybe our boss a bit bigger to make a spotlight compared to others, right? We wanted to customize it, but we cannot previously. But now in the upcoming updates to Microsoft Teams, this become a reality. You can do it in the future. So let's say you have a 10 or about 40 people, right? You can customize it. You can make someone bigger, and then you can resize the size, and you can put on the top. You can put anywhere you want. You can customize it. That is more interesting compared to yours one. Shannon, you get anything?
Is that I don't think I really agree with you on that because it's more towards the fun fact, right? Prefer something more functionalities. So as you can see here, on-demand chat translation, compared to your fun fact, this one is much more better because all we hear about virtual, we know is all boundaryless, connections, virtual meetings. So language barrier is basically a challenge. So just imagine that you have worked with someone in Russia. You don't speak Russian, you don't see Russian words. So what can you do? To on-demand translation will be the best functionalities for your virtual meetings. Do you think so?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yep. And another thing we wanted to share to everyone is, of course, number four, highlight over here. Now you can have the attendees report right away after the meeting. Unlike before, you need to download it manually. So in this latest feature, this actually already rolled out to everybody. So yeah, um, as an organizer of the meetings or event that you conducted, you can now have the attendees report right away after you finish up the meetings. That is more interesting, and it solves the tedious process for the last time, right? So last time you need to manually download it, you need to copy out, and then you need to analyze. Now it become automated. That is very impressive, that the one that Microsoft have put this in the latest features update. And now also, in case you miss out these features, you just need to go back to us, ping us. We will assist you to allow these features. But basically, if you wanted to do it by yourself, you just need to enable this allow engagement report inside the PowerShell, and then you get to go to have these features ready. If you don't do it, the features will not automatically roll out to your teams, even though you get the latest update. So that's the catch, right? Shannon, how about number 5? You have any more?
For my side here, okay, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so I don't think that really impressed me much. I prefer something that function you're able to view it. So as you can see here, breakout room. I think something new, new than attendance reports. What for do you not exactly? You play some game, play some quiz, do some internal meetings within your team A, competitions. I think this is and this has been rolled out. I believe not much people know about these functionalities. If you're actually aware, if for organizer there is a functionalities on the top right corners, which is a two square box, which enable a split of meetings into two groups. I believe that in this later of the webinar we have this tryout. We think will be fun. Do you think that is that?
Yes, I agree with that. Absolutely agree. Why? Because these features, right? Maybe some of us notice about this feature. Maybe some of us miss out about these features. But actually, this is a very interesting features that coming out to Microsoft Teams. You can utilize a lot of things by having this breakout room. So along that features as well, Microsoft have introduced or upgrade also the grid format. So previously you will only have the 3 by 3. Of course, if you notice this, it's good for you. But those who are not notice it, Microsoft have been upgraded it from 3 to 3 grid format to 7 by 7. So the latest numbers that you can see for the overall attendees or the people that turn on the video, it's up to 49 participants. This is a big step updates compared to the previous, which is only limited to 3 by 3. I think to catch with Shannon just now, let's play a little bit of games before we move forward to our main topic, which is the data protection. Shannon just now mentioned about breakout room, right? So why not we try out that features right now with everybody, right, Shannon? We can play some,
Yeah,
right?
I believe that will be fun.
Okay. In that case, Zeti, we might need your help to ready up some breakout rooms, and then we can switch over everybody to the rooms. Then let's play some games.
All right. So we can start now.
Yeah, go
All
ahead.
right.
Let's
Thank
try
you.
this together right now.
All right. Ready, everyone? Later we come back here. Okay. All right.
So actually, you guys will be separated into two teams, Team A and Team B. Let's see. Hi, everybody already here back? Shannon, how was it?
Yes.
How was it? I think
We got our
my everybody in my team it's very excited about it. How about you?
yeah, seems they're all giving good reactions. We have a good winners. They've been actually two round.
Wow, that's great. That's great. All right. So, just a note for everybody, right? So the reason why we are playing this game along with, on this live webinar is just to give you some hint what you can benefit of this breakout room. So basically, as a recap, and by the way, congratulations to the winners. Actually, there's no prize at this stage, right? So bear with us. You guys will be get a prize later on the next game time, all right? So bear with us. But anyway, if you use this breakout room a lot in your organization, actually you can create the interaction, right? So not just the presenter or the organizer or the meeting will be talk on our screen, but we can get the interaction from other people as well, right, Shannon?
Yeah, interaction is everything. Virtuals is dragging the meeting too boring nowadays.
Yep. Okay. So without further ado, let's proceed to our session, which is the very important one, and our main topic and agenda for today is about backup. All right, in Office 365. So allow me quick introduce again our presenter for this our partner, two handsome gentlemen over here, Daniel and also Chow. All right, Daniel, over to you. You on mute, Daniel.
Typical. Thanks, thanks, Iza, for the kind words. I I think I need to thank everyone for being here today as well. As Iza mentioned, webinars are getting a little bit tedious, so hopefully I can bring some value to the audience today. Based on what we know, based on where we see technology users moving to, and why data protection is important. So again, as a quick introduction, my name is Daniel, Regional Channel Manager for Datto, currently based in Singapore. So as you can tell by my accent, I am Australian and have relocated over to Singapore with my wife. And also today we have Chow here, which is our Senior Solutions Engineer, who will take you guys through just a high-level understanding of what a data protection looks like or what the solution looks like. So from my standpoint, I want to share a little bit from a high level understanding of, what we see as important from a cybersecurity, cyber resilience perspective. So if I just click onto the next screen. So a year ago, we said that SaaS applications, which are cloud applications, were becoming the new standard for small to medium businesses and also large as well. But we're now starting to see these SMEs adopt the cloud at a more rapid rate. Because everyone has started to move to the cloud, we're finding that bad actors are also moving to the cloud. When I say bad actors, I mean hackers, who are based in China, based in Russia, who are targeting businesses who don't have the right data protection. It's all well and good with the functionality of what Isa and Shannon were showing us. It's great for businesses to be able to leverage these technologies to enhance efficiencies in their businesses. But I think cybersecurity is very important. But what we're starting to see now is that we need to be more proactive on around cyber resilience. So what plans do you have in place to protect your data, because your data is now placed in the cloud, or because what we're starting to see is end users and businesses are starting to now remotely work from all different places around the world. So your data is getting transferred over the internet from every part of the world, which is very dangerous because data is moving everywhere. It's not just coming from your office anymore. So, as I mentioned again, hackers are becoming more aware of this. So this is where they're moving towards as well. I guess we all live in a world where everyone is moving to cloud. So what we need to consider is, how do we detect a ransomware attack? And then how do we respond from that attack? And most importantly, how do we recover? And that's what I'm here to speak to you guys today. You guys are using Microsoft 365, you guys are using Teams, SharePoint, and the world has joined you as well. So, everyone is starting to move to Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace. So if I can go to the next slide here, I want to talk a little bit on Microsoft 365 threat landscape. Again, migrations are moving to the cloud as quick as ever, as faster than ever. What we need to consider is all data is at risk, especially data that is in the cloud. What Gartner is saying is that 70% of organizations they have suffered business disruption due to ransomware attacks. What we find that is that if businesses are down for more than 72 hours of downtime, or if they suffer for 72 hours downtime, in about 18 months' time, 70% of those businesses are closed. So what we find, or Gartner is they're saying by the end of 2022, 70% of organizations would have suffered business disruption due to unrecoverable data in the SaaS application or in cloud. Coming over to the next slide here, we talk about what sort of industries or what verticals are at risk. Again, I want to mention that you have organizations based in China, based in Russia, who are targeting businesses who don't have the right data protection. These hackers are becoming a lot more sophisticated. What we found, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, hackers were just nuisances. They were your teenage kid sitting in his mum's basement being a nuisance, not being able to do anything with that data. But what we're finding today is that, again, you've got organizations based in China, based in Russia. To give you guys an idea, in 2020 alone, these organizations generated $20 billion of revenue just on ransomware attacks alone. So what you guys see on this slide at the moment is some targeted industries who suffer from losing their data, who would suffer, I guess, in other words. The hackers, again, are becoming a lot more sophisticated. They're looking for businesses who can't afford to lose their data or who can't afford to have disruption in their business. So you see verticals like healthcare, education, manufacturing, construction, logistics. All of these industries have important data. We find that how they're getting through to these organizations are through the end users or through your own employees, right? The biggest risk we find to a business is not the hackers, but your own employees. Employees who will accidentally click on things, employees who will accidentally delete things, but also employees who could potentially be malicious, right? You may have disgruntled employees who will leave your business and they might delete the whole SharePoint, they might delete the whole OneDrive. These are ways hackers are getting into organizations because they know that if they target a management team, they would have the right data to go after. So just some statistics here. We find 50%, 54% are coming from phishing emails, 27% is coming from poor user practices, and then 26% is coming from cybersecurity lack of cybersecurity training. I want to share something interesting with you guys here, a little bit of a use case. This gentleman here is based in Hawaii. He works for the government. So you could imagine how much important data the government is holding and how secure they are. The reason why I have this picture here is because I want to share with you what has happened. A few years ago, Hawaii sent out or broadcasted a message to everyone in Hawaii, the whole population, that there was going to be a missile threat. Imagine you were home with your family, or imagine you were home with your loved ones, and you received a message where the country or the island was going to get blown up in the next few hours or minutes. But this was a hoax. Hackers were managed to get into the government system and was able to retrieve the data and send out a mass message to all their end users or all their customers. And the reason why they were able to do this was because of one thing. This gentleman had taken a selfie of himself and posted it onto social media, right? And he had his password written onto a post-it note and put it onto his monitor, right? So something so little like this, or something so obvious, could have been avoided, right? So again, the biggest risk to any organization or any business out there is your own end user. It might not be malicious, because this gentleman just wanted to post a selfie of himself online. He didn't have the intention of wanting their data to be compromised, but you can imagine the chaos that it caused on that country in that country at the time. So quite crazy. It's quite remarkable as well how easy it is for these hackers to get into any organization. So the more users you have, the bigger risk you are at. What is Ransom Cloud? So the term Ransom Cloud has come or evolved from what we know as ransomware, because customers are now moving again into the cloud. People are not keeping their data, locally in their office. They're now moving to cloud applications. So that's where the term comes from, right? Where what we know as ransomware is now has evolved into Ransom Cloud. I want to show you guys what Ransom Cloud is. So what these hackers are doing is they're sending out emails that looks like it's coming from Microsoft. For a non technical person like myself, I click on anything. If I I must admit, if it seems like it's coming from Microsoft, I don't really read the message. That's just me personally. But as you can see here on the screen, the hackers have changed the 0 in Microsoft to an O to a 0. A lot of times, you might your end users or your staff might be having a busy day. They don't really read the information. They might feel like it's too technical for them, so they click on the accept button. What happens then is the data or the emails will get encrypted. So what these hackers are doing is they're quite smart, right? Where they encrypt the content of your email, but they leave the subject line just to let you know how important your data is. And this is how they make money, because at the time that email may be important. A CEO of a business, or someone who is off to do a presentation and needs the information from an email, they won't be able to retrieve that email. So they're going to be desperate and they're going to pay for ransomware. So basically, if you're seeing something like on the bottom right hand of the screen here, where you see all red, you're having a bad day. This is something that no one wants to go through. So because of Ransom Cloud, we need to consider, or we need to factor in what we call a shared responsibility model. And what this means is Microsoft and their end users or their customers have what they call a shared responsibility model, where Microsoft takes care of the infrastructure. They take care of the hardware, the software, natural disasters, and power outages. What you guys as the end users are responsible for, or what SRKK as well is responsible for, is your own data. Stuff like human error, what I call, fat fingering something, system errors, malicious insiders. So again, disgruntled employees who leave the business and delete the whole SharePoint or delete the whole OneDrive. What happens then is maybe you wouldn't have noticed that that data is missing. A few years later, your auditors will come and ask you for that data. You're going to go to Microsoft and Microsoft say, we're not liable for that data. So a lot of the times when we're speaking to customers or end users, they think that just because they're using Microsoft, that their data is safe because Microsoft is a known brand. They think that their data is safe and they're not responsible for any accidental deletion or malicious deletions, but as well as ransomware. So one thing I want you guys to think about is before or pre-pandemic, people were using Exchange servers that would live on premises, that would live in their offices. Obviously, at that point, you would consider backing up that data. Because your data or your infrastructure has now moved to Microsoft, why don't you need to back it up? So that's a question everyone should be asking themselves: is because I used to back up my data, why don't I need to back it up today? So it's not only, Datto, it's not only SRKK who are saying that you need to back up your data. It's also Microsoft. They have a disclaimer here on page 2059 that we all don't read. So I guess if you guys are having troubles of, falling asleep and you want something boring to read, go to this page here. Basically what they're saying is that they're not liable for any data. They're saying that they recommend customers going to a third-party cloud backup vendor to back up their data because they're not liable for it. So if you have any accidental deletion and you get audited 2 years later, you're going to go to SRKK. SRKK is going to go to Microsoft. Microsoft's going to say, no, we can't back it up, right? Which means what's going to happen here is inefficient to the business. You're going to have to scramble for your past data. Microsoft's going to take you for a drive. They're going to come back and say, sorry, we can't get that data back for you guys. So this is very important for everyone. We should be aware of this, that Microsoft isn't liable for it. Another, I guess, objection that we commonly get is Microsoft retains the data. Yes, they retain the data for a certain amount of days, depending on which license you're based on. But a retention is not a backup. It's not a second copy of your data, right? So depending on your license level, they would retain it for 30 days or 60 days. What happens if you realize that after 60 days that data needs to be retrieved again? It's gone forever. So again, this is something else that we need to consider. I wanted to share a little bit about Datto and who we are. We are new into the business or into the market in Southeast Asia. We've been here for about 5 years now, but we're not new into the solution. We've been around for about 15 years now, and we specialize in cyber security, cyber resilience, and data protection. Globally, we manage over 1 million end users, businesses' data. What we're able to do is that solution is built for restoration. We also provide a solution at a fixed monthly fee, which means that you don't need to, because you're putting your data into our cloud as a backup, if you need to egress that data, we don't charge you extra for it. You don't need to provision your own space. You don't need to buy more hardware. You don't need to buy more software. Again, what we're able to do is we're able to protect your data per user at a fixed monthly fee. We're not going to charge for egress. So think of it as an analogy I like to use is, if you park your car in a car park and you need to retrieve that car back, other vendors may need to charge you extra. what we're able to do is there's going to be no hidden costs involved. The solution is actually a cloud-built solution which complies to SOC 2 compliance, HIPAA compliance, and 2FA. It is a purpose-built backup recovery with close to 100% reliability. The solution is an enterprise-grade solution that is catered more towards SMB and mid-range markets. The reason why I mentioned this is because what we find is a lot of our mid-range customers who require, an enterprise-grade solution, it may be a little bit too expensive. So how are they able to adopt an efficient solution or an enterprise-grade solution at a more affordable cost? This is what SRKK is able to do for you guys, where they're able to protect your data at a more affordable cost with an enterprise-grade solution. So a little bit about why we need to back up the data again, just to clarify, or what we back up is we back up everything within Office 365. So if you're using Office 365 and you're using your Exchange, your OneDrive, your SharePoint, your Teams, we're able to back all of that up on a per user basis. Again, I want to mention that it's a fixed monthly fee. We don't charge extra for SharePoint, OneDrive, or Teams. We're only based it on the users. What we're able to do is we're able to maximize protection. And what that means is we're able to provide full control in your data. Because Microsoft only is liable for the infrastructure, if you have any data loss, you have control over retrieving that data and not having to rely on Microsoft services or Microsoft to have to go and restore that data for you. And it's a lot more cost effective, if there are any, what I mean by that, it's able to reduce business risk. So, data that is able to be retrieved and recovered rather than losing that data completely, which then impacts the business. So from here, what I want to do is I want to pass it over to Chow, our solutions engineer, to take you guys through a high-level understanding of the GUI, the GUI, or the interface. So, how a backup is done, what sort of configuration you guys can have access to, but also most importantly, what sort of restore can be done. So before I get into that, I want to share one last slide with you guys what this backup is able to do. We're able to back up automatically 3 times a day. It's a simple setup, straightforward. You're able to do a one-click restore at a file or folder level. You're able to restore from one mailbox to another. So for example, if you have an employee who has left the business and you need to restore that employee's mailbox into the next replacing employee, you're going to be able to do that. You're also able to restore from a point of time, whether you need to go back 7 years or whether you need to go back 10 years, you're going to be able to restore to that point of time. So for our FSIs or our finance customers, our government customers, they have a 7-year backlog that they have to comply to as a regulation. What we're able to do there is we're able to comply to that because, again, for a fixed monthly fee, we will provide unlimited backup storage and infinite retention. Meaning we don't care how much data you put into our cloud or our data center, and we don't care how long you keep it in there for. We're still going to charge you for that fixed monthly fee. From here, what I want to do is I want to pass it over to Chow. I'll be sticking around for questions if anyone has, but hopefully I haven't gone through this too quick. Hopefully I haven't overwhelmed the audience too much, and hopefully I was able to add some value. From here, allow me to pass it to Chow to share his screen.
Yep, thanks, Daniel. Let me share the screen.
Thank you very much, Daniel and Chow. Chow, you have 5 minutes.
Yeah, so no problem. It is going to be a very simple solutions that we are talking about. This is actually a cloud-to-cloud backup solutions. So no on-premise hardware, no software to be purchased, just subscriptions, right? So as mentioned by Daniel, this is the GUI, the key that you will be looking at to do the management. And we are able to do the backup of the OneDrive, the Exchange, the SharePoint, and Teams, right? Just a landing page to tell you about the backup progress, the status for the last 10 days backup, right? So the backup is going to be 3 times a day on a scheduled basis. No configuration needed. Okay, the only configuration that you need to do is basically to select which user to do the backup. Right, so this list of the users is going to be populated, okay, from the M365 over to Datto, right? So you can select the users to be actively having the backup, or probably to remove the user, like what you can see over here, the ND is going to be unprotected. So in this case, we are not going to charge you for this user backup, right? So the user backup over here, inclusive of the emails as well as the OneDrive, right? If you want to do a backup for shared mailbox, you can come to the mailbox and select every one of them. Okay, so as you can see on the right hand side, there is no billable column, so we are not going to charge you separately onto this. As long as you subscribe to us, you will be able to back up the shared mailbox. Right, so same applies to the sites, which is the SharePoint sites. Okay, the SharePoint site is pretty straightforward. Select the site that you want to do the backup, and if you notice, no billable column on the right hand side. Right, lastly, it will be Teams. Anything that is for under Teams that you want to do a backup from, okay, that definitely you can just select it into the active state to do the backup. Right, so that's all about the configuration that I have. Okay, so which is pretty simple and straightforward, as I promised. Right, so let me move over to the recovery. Okay, under recovery, let's go into the exchange for me to demonstrate onto the backup to the restorations onto an email. Right, so these are the list of the users that I have. Of course, you can actually do a lookup onto here, or you can go direct into the mailbox that I have. For example, this is the mailbox that I'm using for demo. Okay, so first thing first, we can actually go through snapshot. Right, snapshot is basically the backup that I mentioned 3 times a day. You can go into the previous day. These are the 3 backups that I mentioned. If you want to trigger additional backup, you can always go to the backup now and by hitting it. So it will trigger additional backup if you want to. Right, you can also do a search onto the account. For example, I want to do a search for beer. Okay, so anything that is come with the beer title subjects will be able to return. Right, some administrator would prefer to go through the folder structure. You can come back to the mail, sort by the name. Right, so go into the inbox that I have, or probably a different subfolder like department. Okay, if I want to go into the IT department and select an email of that to do the restoration, that will be possible. Okay, so by selecting this email, you can hit the restoration button, right? So there are 2 selections over here. Of course, you can do the selection for the selected item for you to do a restorations. The other one is a snapshot whereby you want to restore the entire snapshots. Okay, so including all the subfolders, emails, or any other things that is within the mailbox itself. Okay, so you can actually restore it onto a different person if you want to, like the quote example by Daniel. Okay, I'm leaving the company soon. Someone is taking over my role. In this case, can be Caleb. Okay, so I will then be able to do a restoration for the entire snapshot over to Caleb. Right, so let me leave it with the selected item over here, and I'm going to show you my active mailbox. So this is the mailbox that I have. As you can see, there are 2 backup file restore folders. Right, so these are the restoration folders that I've done previously. Okay, so you every time you trigger restorations, additional restoration folders, the backup file restore with the timestamp will be created. Okay, let me go back to the GUI and hit the restoration button. Right, so the restoration has been started. Okay, let's observe onto the production mailbox. As you can see, additional folders has been created, and the folder structure is going to be exactly the same as what you have. Okay, so you can actually go into the IT department folders and look into the email that you have. Okay, so this is how simple the solution is, and it's very easy for you to do the restorations from any of the admins that you have. Right, so this will be the simple restoration demo I have. We'll hand it back to Izzat in this case.
Let me see in a while. Is there any question on the chat that didn't yet answer?
Izzat, in the chat got one question. How
Yep.
does subscription work? Is it based on number of user and storage size?
All right, Daniel, can you help answer this one?
Sorry.
We got a question from Mr. Rajan. How does subscription work? Is it based on number of user or storage size?
Sorry. So it's based on users. We don't base it on the shared mailboxes or SharePoint. It's based on user.
Right. Yes. I hope that answered that question. And then we got number two question, Daniel from Mr. Reza. How's your SaaS infrastructure proposed here?
How's your SaaS proposed here? What does that mean? Do you mind elaborating on that question? The SaaS infrastructure?
Hello, Reza here.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Hi, I need to know more about your proposed infrastructure in terms of security, and also do you have your own backup, your data center, the infrastructure over there?
Oh, right. Okay. So the infrastructure is built in Equinix, a well-known data center, and again, it is SOC 2 HIPAA 2FA compliance. In terms of encryption, it does get encrypted during transit. So we leverage 256-bit AES encryption. Just that's to answer Sharul's question as well, all in one. Does that answer your question? Yeah, perfect.
Alright, then we have another questions. Can we restore the data to other email account?
Yeah, so correct. Maybe Chow might have to jump in here.
Yep. So the restorations can be done within the same tenant. Okay. So if you have a multi-domain environment under the same tenant, yep, definitely you can actually do a restoration over to a different email account. Does that answer your question, Azari?
Okay.
Thanks.
Great.
Some good questions.
Yeah, very good question. Okay, we exceed the time for our webinars, but anyway, if you guys have any queries, you would like to schedule maybe another session to make sure you understand more towards the solution, you can feel free to reach out to Lim Zihun. Right? I believe Zeti already dropped Zihun contact number and also email over there. Feel free to contact Zihun, and then we reach out to you back in the next meeting. All right. By the way, Agent X9, if you still here, can just drop your email so that we can contact you later. Oh, the last question from Reza. Implementation cost inclusive of subscription. This is a subscription by user. We don't charge it. It's by subscription only. Because the implementation is straightforward, like the Chow mentioned just now. All right. I think that's all. Thank you very much, guys. If you wanted any more clarification, feel free to reach out to Zihun or myself. If you have my email, my email is izat@srkk.com. Thank you for having us today. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
Bye.
you.
Bye.